Before I start this review, let me just say that I hope to keep the spoilers to a minimum, if there are any at all, but considering sometimes spoilers are a little subjective, I leave you with that warning. There may be some spoilers ahead, but they will be very minimal. As should be noted, this review is only my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, but please not too much, as salt is bad for you. Now that that's out of the way, hi there. My name's Atrunav, and welcome to my review of Yuppie Psycho. For a long time, I've wanted to make another game review, and since I recently passed this one, I thought it was a great idea to make a video. I'm trying out a format for game reviews in which I explain the reasons why I love the game, and why I think more people should play it, in a time frame of about 10 minutes. You good? Good. So, what is Yuppie Psycho? Well, it's a game that was released by indie studio Baroque Decay, and it's about a young man named Brian Pasternak as he heads into his very first job at the mega corporation Sintracorp. He's been hired to take on one simple task: kill the witch. Now right off the bat, the game tells you this, and so begins the adventure. But in order to understand what makes this game great in my eyes, I'll break it down into parts, and the reason I'll do it that way, other than because it's organized, is because Yuppie Psycho is special. It's the sum of its parts that makes it great, wherein each part seems simple enough, deceptively so, but therein lies the charm. Now, I'm an avid watcher of anime, so the visuals were the first thing to catch my eye even before it was released. That, alongside the art style being pixel art, of which I'm a huge fan, made it easy for me to step right into it. Also, I'm the type of person who believes that the first impression is the most important aspect to consider when starting something new. A good first impression can make an unfavorable experience bearable, or a fantastic experience memorable. So when the game first starts, and you're treated to a fully animated cutscene with its great visuals and a sense of personality that automatically emanates from it, you know you're off to a good start. And personality is something that it most definitely has. The game controls and feels like how the studio describes its previous game, a mix between old school Silent Hill and The Legend of Zelda for the Game Boy. It's got that same top-down view that many people like, the same style of event flags, checkpoints, and RPG-esque mechanics that as you gather items, using them in specific situations, all to further the story. And at the same time, the unnerving and slightly disturbing nature of the company and what's going on there has you constantly feeling on edge. There's something ever so slightly off, yet that element in itself is what pulls you in even further. Those things, coupled with some excellent writing for each of the characters, makes for a good combination. It makes you feel comfortable heading from office to office, getting your job done, knowing you'll likely encounter a wacky character or a bit of witty dialogue. As an example of the three types of characters you will meet, I'd like to draw attention to the first three. There's Chapman, Kate, and Hugo. Now Chapman comes off as a real pompous jerk when you first meet, and for some reason the game thinks of him as a friend of yours? I don't know. But that conversation helps cement two things in the game. One is the overdrop for it, the background setting, and two is just how flavorful the game actually is. But more about the setting in a bit. Kate comes along and offers a different perspective on the characters. She's kind, sweet, and down to earth. She's much like Brian, new to the company and hoping for one thing, to do a good job and not mess up. After all, isn't that what we all want when we join a company? She makes the experience seem more inviting. Whereas Chapman pushes the player away, Kate invites you to not give up, and as such, you move to keep going, to move forward, to see what the big fuss is all about. And finally, we meet Hugo. He works on your floor and is the cheerful, welcoming face you need to start your job. He is also, perhaps, too positive. And as the player soon finds out, there's more to him than meets the eye. All throughout these meetings, there is one constant. The writing is superb. You can really get the sense that the company is alive, that your coworkers are actually people, each with their own interests, quirks, and more. They add depth to the experience, along with, you guessed it, the setting. So Chapman makes an allusion to the kind of world the characters live in. and from his comments, a clear picture can already be drawn. Yuppie Cycle takes place in a dystopian version of the 90s, meaning that class divide is a real issue, but it's not one that's totally relevant to the game. And I do use the word totally a little loosely here because there is a bit of an aspect to it that later on down the line in the story does play a big part, but still it merely adds context. It's not that big a role in the narrative, it doesn't play that big a role. At the same time, it adds to the obvious style and throwbacks it references, taking inspiration from many things Eastern Asian from the time, including the fact that Brian doesn't know how to use a computer. It's the little things that add to the charm and that makes you not want to stop once you start playing. And adding yet another layer of depth and overall feel to the game's time frame is the soundtrack. It goes in line with the current trend of reviving the 80s style of music. The soundtrack is synthy, but not overimposing. Put all those things together and you get a very immersive setting. I mentioned 3 characters before, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of the most important characters, Sintra. She's the robotic girl on the cover and one of the major driving forces behind the story. She's the one that properly sets everything in motion, telling you where to go, what to find, and ultimately leading you down the path to unraveling the mystery surrounding the company and the witch. Also Sosa, she's, quite frankly, the most lovable character the game has, my little ball of goth. And in the end, the biggest reason to stay and play the game is the story. It's a mystery at its heart, with a few twists and turns that will keep you guessing as to what's going on. Now, despite saying all that, you may still not be convinced. The game may seem woefully simple to you, and that's a fact. Psycho Yuppie looks simple and feels simple. There's nothing too complex about its gameplay, nor its puzzles, and even the story is nothing groundbreaking. But that's why I said before that the sum of its parts is what makes it great. It only seems simple, but when you combine the stylized art, the setting, the quirky characters, the fantastic dialogue, the mystery, the gameplay, and the music, you can tell that a lot of love was put into the game. And when you play it, you realize that it doesn't matter how simple it is. It doesn't matter that it's not challenging or complex. What matters is that it's fun. And that is what Yuppie Cycle is at its core. A genuinely fun game that, in my opinion, captures the essence of what makes a great game. So, to summarize, the reasons I love Yuppie Cycle and why it captured my heart the way it did comes down to the pixel art style, the writing, the story, the old school style of gameplay, and the music. You cannot forget the music. Now, whether or not the game stands the test of time could be up to debate. Some people might find it forgettable, others might not even play it at all. But if I know one thing, it's that I don't regret playing it, as it left a mark, and I will definitely not forget Yuppie Cycle anytime soon. That's it, end of the review. I felt I need to get this off my chest, and if I can get more people to discover and play this wonderful game, then I've done my job. Also, there's a lot of symbolism in the game, and I could go into an entire other video about it. In fact, I could keep rambling about the game for a longer time, but I wanted to make something that was short, sweet, and to the point, and it's better to experience the game for yourselves, and also to get the symbolism down on your own. Anywho, thank you so much for sticking around and watching. Hopefully I'll have convinced you to play the game, and if not, if you're still not sure or you just want to see someone else play it, then please check out my Let's Play of it up there on the right. And if you liked the video, then leave a like, subscribe, it'll help a small channel like mine grow, and comment. If you like what I said, dislike it, agree, disagree, I want to know. But as always, I'm the only me, so you be the only you. See you next time.